I'm finna play A. No, I got man game.
So far, this is going to be one of the biggest updates we've ever gotten in any Madden game. So on their live stream a little bit ago, they gave us a preview of the update. The live stream is usually for Ultimate Team content, and they debuted some stuff for Season 2 of the Madden 23 season, but they also gave us a little bit of a preview as to what's coming in tomorrow's update, so I figured let's talk about some of the things we can expect before going over the official update tomorrow morning. So this is the first thing that they put up on the screen and talked about. It's Title Update 3 Preview. It says, Title Update 3 is the largest yet for Madden NFL 23 and covers many aspects of the game such as franchise, MUT, gameplay, authenticity, and player likeness. Title Update 3 goes live tomorrow AM. Now, from what I've heard, just from kind of poking around, like I said, this is going to be one of the biggest updates we've ever gotten for Madden, and typically the October update is usually one of the bigger updates every year for Madden because it takes into account pretty much everything that's been going on since the release of the game, which has been about 2 months. There's been a lot of feedback feedback that has come in from the first month of the game that has not yet been implemented. Because you have to look at it this way. When the game releases, we all play it. We find all of these ridiculous issues every year, both in gameplay and in the game mode. Then we start reporting back to EA, this is what's wrong with the game, we can't do this, this is broken. And then they have to go in, they have to find the fixes for them. Then they have to implement them and make sure they work. Then they've got to submit these updates to Sony and Microsoft, and usually that takes a few weeks just for approval. So if you really think about it, the October update is really the biggest update that addresses most of the issues that have been in the game since launch. Yes, they will put out a few emergency updates when it's something very small that they think they can fix very quick, but most of the things take time for them to actually figure out what the heck is even wrong in the first place, and that's just a process, and especially with EA, takes them probably longer than it should. So this October update is really the one that should make the game hopefully finally play how it should have been playing 2 months ago. Now in terms of franchise mode, I mean there's a long laundry list of things that they have to be fixing with this update. They didn't specify exactly which franchise mode, but I would assume they're trying to tackle all of them because most of them make the mode unplayable, especially for online CFM. So if they're only going to fix a few of them, but there's still many other things crashing the mode, that's really not going to do much. They're also fixing multiple issues that face the franchise and did touch on this in the stream. They said there's some issues that are causing people to disconnect or not be able to advance in their face of the franchise. Career mode, this has been an issue since day one, so that is a big fix if they can finally get that addressed, because some people have just not been able to continue through the mode. But again, we'll know every little single detail tomorrow, and I'll be here to break it down. In terms of MUT, I'm not really sure what they're going to be fixing with MUT, but we did get some info on Season 2, which I'll share at the end of the video. Gameplay-wise, there's a ton of balancing that needs to be done. There's a bunch of different things they could be doing here. Now, in terms of authenticity, this typically means presentation type stuff. There's some fields that need to be upgraded, possibly some uniform upgrades. We're probably going to get the remaining alternate helmets that we haven't gotten yet. The old-gen players of PS4 and Xbox One are probably going to get all the helmets as well. This could also mean more equipment, possibly. And then player likeness just means more updated face scans, new face scans for rookies or young players that haven't gotten their faces in the game yet. So like I said, this is going to be a pretty big update. Now they also gave us a little bit of a preview of some of the gameplay. They didn't give us a whole bunch, but they showed this. It says QB contain. Change QB contain assignment logic. So second level defenders, stack linebackers, and defenders lined up in those positions will not be able to be assigned QB contain. Example, the loop blitz. Now they have made the loop blitz a little bit better since the start of the game. It was really overpowered in the first few weeks of the game. They fixed it a little bit. It still definitely works. It's still pretty consistent, but it's not as bad as it was during the first few weeks of the game. But with this change right here, it's going to be impossible to do the loop blitz because you will not be able to put linebackers in the contain assignment. But with all the other cover zero style blitzes that are dominating the game, you don't really need the loop blitz that much anymore. In fact, I feel like a lot of people have already moved on from the loop blitz and into the other cover zero blitzes that, in my opinion, are just better. But they could potentially be addressing that as well. They did mention during the stream that expect more updates to blocking, so that could definitely affect some of these blitzes that are happening if they can do it correctly. They also have something here with catching. It said fixed catching animation issue causing the receiver to use an effort catch on a catchable pass. Also fixed an issue preventing defenders from playing a knockout in some situations where one was being requested. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure which issue this is in particular. This kind of just sounds like something that's not that big of a deal. I would have liked for them to touch on something that was a little more serious, like aggressive catching potentially, or man defense, for example.
Capital One can help you apply for a card with confidence by showing you which ones you qualify for before
catching potentially, or man defense, for example. I'm also really curious to see on the gameplay side of things if they do anything with abilities and X factors. I know in Ultimate Team they're likely going to do some AP balancing with the abilities, but around this update, typically for the regular game, they'll put some new abilities in the game. They've done that pretty much every year, so I'm curious to see if that happens. And I'm also curious to see if they just do an X Factor and Superstar Player update overall. It might be a little too early for that. That might be the next update or two, but it really just depends. A couple years ago, they updated those players this time of the year, and then last year they kind of waited a little bit later into the year, so it could really go either way. Now tomorrow also officially starts Season 2 of Madden 23 and Ultimate Team, which means a ton of new content is coming to the game, a ton of updated field passes where you can earn free players and rewards if it works properly, because so far this year, that's been another area that has been pretty buggy, to say the least. But every time you turn over to a new season in Ultimate Team, it is a pretty big deal. You get a ton of new content, a ton of new players, a ton of new offline challenges to play in the game, a bunch of new objectives to complete in online head-to-head as well. And they also showed us some of those rewards, including the Season 2 Field Pass, which actually looks pretty good. They're giving some pretty good rewards away in this Field Pass this time around, much better than the first time around in my opinion. But the biggest two, when you go to the second page right here, is at level 41, they're giving you a 92 overall Josh Allen that gets discounted abilities. The most notable one is he gets Gunslinger for 1 AP, which if you are a online player, you know how huge that is. And then at level 51, they're giving a 94 overall Deion Sanders, who is by far the best defensive player in the game. And I think this is honestly the best free reward they've ever given in Madden this early in the year. Usually they give really good free rewards like at the very end of the year. So this Field Pass is actually definitely pretty worth it if you're a person that grinds the game. However, it has to work correctly, which we've had plenty of issues with it so far. So that's kind of the thing I'm holding my breath on a little bit. Again, make sure you subscribe with the bell icon on so you don't miss tomorrow's video.